Just out of interest, what's your preference for Bibles?
King James 1611.
Hey, you know.
Probably all right. I don't know about that new business, but random. We've got the proper one on our phone.
Yeah.
So should you hit us with a question that's improper.
iPhone, yes. Cool. Okay, so I'm here with Megan and
Margie
from Westboro Baptist Church.
Right.
Now, I'm afraid virtually the only thing I know about you, seeing as I've not kept up with current events, is that you are most famous for carrying signs along the lines of God hates fags.
Right. That's our main website too, godhatesfags.com.
And the one that I remember in particular was going back a couple of years. This was the beginning of the Iraq War, where you were saying that it was God's wrath that was killing the Americans there because of homosexuality in America.
That's close. He's killing all the soldiers, including the British soldiers, because of the proud sins of America and of the UK.
Yeah.
So
not just homosexuality.
Yeah, it says in Judges, says they chose new gods, then was war in their gates.
But the thing that, so the proposed correlation is between Americans dying and increased homosexuality.
No, again, if you listen,
Yes.
the proud, institutionalized policies of sin, every manner of sin, divorce and remarriage, which Christ said is adultery, fornication, if you don't fornicate by 14 in these nations, you're a freak, murder, millions and millions of unborn babies murdered, murder on the battlefield, idolatry, greed, etc., etc. All of the sins that led you to thinking it was a good idea to have same-sex marriage.
Okay, that's fine. The thing is that, so I think New York's recently put...
Yes, and we'll be picketing them on the 24th when they start that folly.
But the thing is, the number of Americans killed in Iraq has been going down as the country has been...
So here's what you have. There's this amazing passage in Ecclesiastes. And it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil. So like a dog, if God doesn't immediately curse you,
she's not done.
Immediately cut you off in your proud sin, you think that it's okay. You think you can go on and be unpunished.
And every time you arrogant rebels open your mouths to this church and say, well, that wasn't a very big punishment God did, he promptly hits you harder. I can't count how many times we got the mocking claim that the tornadoes from last year's tornado season weren't killing enough people to really take God seriously. So he smacked the crap out of Joplin and killed 153 or 4 people. He's just getting warmed up good.
Struggling with is...
The thing you're struggling with is you're a rebel. That's all you're struggling with. And you're, pardon me, but you're garden variety, a dime a dozen type of rebel. Nothing unique or clever about your rebellion.
Please. The thing is that Europe has essentially turned away from God, as you would put it.
Yeah, and they're a shadow of their former self. Used to be the sun didn't set. Well, you can disagree till the cows come home.
I disagree on
but the
economics,
fact is, the British Empire used to be worldwide, so that the sun never set on the British Empire.
Yes.
Today, it's a tawdry little piddling, fledgling bunch of losers, weak. They're not counted on in any war. They're not counted on in any war. They're not counted on in anything except to be a laughingstock to this world.
Please.
And yes, we ascribe that to the fact that you mistreated and misused the prophets of God.
The fall of the British
is
Empire.
Because you misused and mistreated the prophets of God, the likes of John Bunyan. That's the cause of the fall of the British Empire.
No.
And you can blather about man's history till this day ends, and it doesn't change that fact.
If you want to ignore history and just ascribe everything to God, then you are divorced from reality.
He ordained history.
Yeah.
He ordained it.
No, you're missing the point.
And you trying to force our reality to be your lying human history changes nothing. This right here is reality, young man.
Right. So the technology that you get
is created by God for one reason, So Westboro Baptist Church could tell this world at this hour, God hates you for your proud sin. So of course we use it.
Of all the Christians who have ever lived, how many
Right.
do you think would describe what you're doing now
A remnant.
as witchcraft?
Too many. How many would believe what we
There
believe
you
now
go. You have
is
just
a remnant?
condemned yourself by the very
No.
book that you claim.
So
You're
goofy.
so silly.
You're so goofy.
No, it's called
Your
logic.
question was, how many
Look,
people
look,
who claim
if
to
you
be
want-
Christian would call what we're doing witchcraft? And my
No,
answer
no, no,
is
no, no,
too
with
many.
the phone, with the phone.
Yeah, whatever.
No, this is
We're not
important.
bound by the ignorance of people who claim to be Christians. There's people who claim to be Christians today who say it's okay to be gay. You think that's binding on us? No, we got a standard in the scriptures,
It's
and the
not-
standard is clear.
Yeah.
This technology was created by God.
No, it was created by scientists.
Well, and you get to
the
tell
reason-
God that. And who created the scientist? Who created the scientist?
Well, let me start at the beginning.
No,
Life,
who created the scientist, young man? Answer that question.
Life is a self-replicating process.
Yeah, and you know what? You get to tell that lie to God right before he picks you up by your scruffy neck and drop kicks your rebellious ass
Look.
into hell.
Okay, so there is a premise here that God exists. That premise is
That's not a premise, it's in your DNA. You wouldn't have driven all the way across country and sat down in this living room to contend with us if your conscience didn't tell you, if it wasn't part of your DNA, that there's a God, little boy.
The statement is inconsistent with reality.
And again, you get to put all that blather right in front of your Creator, mano y mano, at the judgment seat, and good luck with that plan.
Look, how about rather than actually just asserting there is a God, you actually provide
For
some
the
evidence
invisible things
for
of him are from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead,
that's-
so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, and neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing
This
themselves
is
to be
Shut, she's
wise,
not finished.
This-
Hush.
no, no, no,
Hush.
no, no,
She's
no,
not
look.
finished.
They became
Hush.
fools.
She's not finished. She's answering your question.
So the
Professing
fools,
themselves to be wise.
the fools,
Hush. She's not finished.
and do you know why that's internally inconsistent and
And
profoundly
what
stupid?
you want to do
What you
is
have just
pretend like
quoted,
the Bible's not true
professing
and bind
themselves
us with
wise,
that.
they have become fools.
That's right.
So
That's what you've done.
Do you profess yourself wise in the Bible?
No, you profess
Do you-
yourself wise
no,
in human
it's-
wisdom.
It's a statement that can never be true. Professing yourself, if you are wiser and you're a fool, then you can
No,
never
no, no,
actually.
no, no.
You profess
Become-
yourself
This is a
wiser than
description.
God.
This is a description, exactly. You profess yourself to be wiser than God. You think that
That's
you're
not what it
exactly-
you
says.
think
That's
you're
not what
That's
it says.
exactly what
Read-
you
read-
profess.
Read that last bit back to me.
That's exactly what
No,
you profess
please,
is that
no,
you're
I want
wiser
you to
than.
read
And
your
what do
Bible.
you care? You claim the Bible's not true. What do you care what it says?
This is
Well,
a
exactly.
description of a thing
Exactly,
that
so
occurs
shut
when
up
you
about it.
exalt yourself above a knowledge of God. You understand?
right.
I just read you one passage. This Bible is full of such wisdom.
But you think
no.
you're smarter than God's wisdom. You think
Yeah.
this is just a man-made
Yeah.
book.
There
You don't
is-
believe in the sovereignty of God. You don't believe in the power of God to reveal His word to mankind
There's
and
a
to
reason.
preserve His word so that every donkey's ass like you and your stupid uncle can read it and
There
be
is-
bound by it. He's preserved it.
There is a reason why this was written by uneducated camel herders and you use an iPhone. Right? That reason is because we developed something called the scientific method.
And
And
who
the-
do you think created every person and gave each person the
Right,
gifts
so
and
this
the
is the
knowledge
shell
and the
game.
understandings that they have?
This is a
The
shell
shell game is you don't believe in God, and so
Do you
you
know
want to
what-
tuck everything up under human wisdom.
Let's actually-
That's the shell game.
Do you even know what the shell game is?
The shell game, let me say it again and maybe this time you'll listen. The shell game is you pretend there is no God and you
No,
take every
you are
bit of your
incorrect.
thinking that comes out of your dark heart and your filthy backside and then you want to
You-
tuck it up under human wisdom and pretend there is no God. That's the shell game.
You are fundamentally incorrect. You do not know
Well,
what the shell game
and your
is.
mama wears army boots, and where does that leave us? We don't have to prove God to you. You have a duty to obey God, and you know He exists, or you
Again-
wouldn't be here.
Again, we have actually, all you ever do is assert that God exists.
And all
Assert
you
that
ever
He
do is
on
assert He doesn't exist.
Actually,
And
no, I
there
don't.
you have it. That's
Actually,
all you ever do
no,
is assert.
no,
There's a
that-
scientific method, and this is just a shell game, and everything you say could just be reduced to foolishness, and blah, 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 blah.
No, Look,
Yeah, that's
the
all you
reason-
do. All you got is words. You don't have any belief in your heart. You don't have any hope. You don't have any happiness. You don't have any contentment. You don't have any explanation. All you have is a lot of pseudo, psychobabble nonsense.
Please. Why did Moses not write the Bible on an iPhone?
Because there wasn't one then. Who cares? Who cares? It got here today. Who cares?
Why did God not give the Bible to Moses on an SD
Because he didn't want to. It wasn't time for that then. What is it to you? You go create your own universe, little girl, and then you can talk about how to unroll the information.
The thing is that the God that you're proposing here is a redundant tier. The reason that we have iPhones is because we actually developed this thing called scientific naturalism.
Okay, we're not interested in listening to you. Do you have questions for us? Do you have more questions for us? You can go sit that up in your bathroom and put all that bilge out. You ask us questions and we'll give answers or we're done.
Okay. So, why of the 2,000 years of... Let's start with some broad questions.
A question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to clarify your position on this description here. So, for starters, when do you think that the Earth was created?
A little over 6,000 years ago.
Okay, so this would put you into young Earth creationists, Jess.
It's 6,000 years ago. Next question. We're not interested in all your labels.
And Moses does the... Well, words are important. But
don't keep
Moses,
sidetracking with your speeches or we're done. I'm not kidding you. You got nothing of value for us. We got the word of life, the bread of life, the only hope for this generation and world. You can get some words from us. No more words from you, little boy. Either you stop it or we're done.
Okay.
Questions or we're done.
Okay, here is the question.
Okay.
2,000 years ago, a guy called Christ gets killed.
The Son of God was killed by the Jews.
I'm asking a question.
Well, ask it right.
And from this spawns a religion called Christianity.
Not modern day Christianity didn't spawn from that.
Can I finish the question?
Well, I don't know. We're going to see. So far, you're not doing too good.
There are 2,000 years between Christ dying and now. And since then, religion has diverged and diverged.
Right, because there's a lot of false prophets and liars. But here's what hadn't changed.
The
The elect of God. I got your question. I got your question. It's folly. The elect of God from Christ to now. There has been a church of the Lord Jesus Christ in this earth that has maintained a conspicuous testimony of truth from these pure words of doctrine in this Bible that has never changed, that has been an unbroken chain. Now that little stream that's gone through mankind, not just for 2,000 years, for 6,000 years, has done that against a backdrop of billions of raging rebels and millions of lying, whore, false prophets. For example, the raping priests that permeate the landscape today. Nothing new under the sun about that. You got nothing new.
I didn't even finish the question. You've not answered the question. Why, of all of these 30,000 denominations, can you actually trace your ancestral heritage back to...
What I can
in other
trace...
words, your variant of Christianity...
Question. Yeah, what's the question?
When did your variant of Christianity start?
The day that Adam was created is when it started. I didn't ask you for your opinion on that. That's the answer.
No, Christianity can't have started before Christ
Well, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. He's the Son of God.
The sovereign God who created and who ordained all things.
She's answering your question. Shut up.
Every
step
of
Christianity before Christ.
Shut up.
It wasn't called it, but it doesn't
No one cares
change
what you called it.
It's all ordained of God. All those things, the Jews, all the ceremonial law was all a shadow of Christ. And when you read the New Testament and you see the fulfillment of these prophecies, all of the Old Testament prophecies and the law, the fulfillment of the law.
I know.
Stop interrupting her answer.
But I want to know
we're going to do this one more time. You're going to ask questions and then close your mouth while we finish answers or we're done. I'm not kidding you. We're done if you don't stop it.
I appreciate the strong matriarch stance.
Okay, we're done. You finished, huh? Okay. There's nothing.
One last question.
All right, we'll see.
Does Jesus endorse homosexuality?
Of course not.
Can't you read, he said, that he that made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
Number one.
No other twain.
Number two, he said, remember Lot's wife. Number three, he took Paul. I'm not done. Number 3, he took Paul to the backside of a desert for 3 years and taught him personally. And the first thing Paul wrote was Romans 1, where he said fags are worthy of death. Now we're done. Now we're done.
No.
This
is remember
this is actually
twice.
the completion of that thing that I was reading earlier that you didn't listen. It says, wherefore, because professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meet or fitting. If that isn't a description of facts, I don't know what is. Those are called vile affections that God gave you up to.
No, you don't get to read this because you said you don't believe it. So why are you reading it?
Because I think this is endorsed. I think Jesus endorses homosexuality.
Well, you would be wrong.
Yeah, you're just a liar.
This is remember Lot's wife.
That's right.
So, and after this he says, so he's describing the end of times here. Yes?
Just read it. We didn't ask for your exposition.
No,
you're incompetent to expound.
Okay.
Read.
So Jesus is describing, this is Luke 17:21. Jesus is describing the end times.
Read,
when
please.
People will be raptured. Now, it's important that
you don't even understand the word rapture, and that's not what that's describing whatsoever.
Can you then...
Just read and make your question.
Remember Lot's wife. Whoever seeks to save his wife will lose it. Whoever loses his life will preserve it. I tell you, there will be a night when there will be 2 men in one bed. The one will be taken, the other will be left. 2 women will be grinding together. One will be taken, and the other will be left. And there will be 2 men in a field. One will be taken, and the other left.
What about it? It just means they'll be going about the business
2
of
men
living.
in a bed. What are they doing?
That's what you're calling.
Yeah.
What that means is
God.
2 men will be asleep, each in their own bed, and when they least expect it, the wrath of God will pour out on this world. You damn fool.
The word it says is 2 men in one bed.
And which means what?
2 men
doing
in
what?
one bed.
Doing what?
Exactly. What would 2 men be doing? In
This
one
is
bed?
his case for homosexuality.
Jesus
And you
says
think
that.
that
Have you ever shared a hotel room with a man?
Jesus.
Have you ever shared a hotel room with another man?
Yes.
And did you anally copulate with him? Did you anally copulate with him? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, then shut up.
Right, but that's
No.
there are 3 examples.
And
that Jesus
2 of them
gives,
are out in the
and
field
they're all
working
homosexual.
together.
They're all
There's not
homosexual
one word
couples.
about homosexuality
Yeah,
in that passage, you
Jesus,
pervert.
And
Not
Jesus,
one word
working in the field
about
about
Jesus doesn't give
homosexuality.
one heterosexual example of
two
someone being
people working
raptured.
in the field. 2 people
And
working
it
in
says
the field
2
is
women
homosexuality.
grinding, 2 women grinding
Only
together.
your
I'm thinking-
perverted mind would hear
I'm-
sex in that. Only your perverted mind.
Just-
They're grinding mill, you pervert.
I didn't know that women ground millennium.
They're grinding mill, pervert.
So the rapture should have happened when women were still grinding.
Hun, you are a pervert. You're a deeply
No.
corrupted pervert. You know good and well that's not what that passage says.
Well, yeah,
and
so-
now we're finished with you because you
The
have
women
no...
grinding.
Hun, this is
If the
folly.
women-
We're
if the
answering
women
a man
are
according to
grinding-
his folly. You need to leave the building now.
If
Come
the
along,
women
dear.
are grinding together,
Come along,
then
dear.
the rapture should have happened.
You've made that case as good as you
2,000
can make
years
it.
ago.
Out you
2,000
go.
years ago.
Out you go. Out you go. You have no good faith. You're a filthy pervert.
Okay.
Out you go. Out you go.
Okay. Well,
Turn it off and out you go. You sit here accusing